Hundreds of people have been arrested for protesting peacefully against the ban on Palestine Action.
Who do you serve? Who do you protect?
Keir Starmer's Labour government has classed the group as a terrorist organisation after some of its members sprayed paint on military aircraft. We've uncovered footage from Parliament's original debate about the Terrorism Act 2000, the law under which Palestine Action has been banned. Even then, MPs foresaw that activist groups could be caught up in the new terrorism legislation.
Whether or not Greenpeace or Animal Liberation Front groups could be named as terrorist organisations, either by him as a current Home Secretary or by any future Home Secretary.
Greenpeace and anti-war groups were pretty radical in the 1990s, committing serious acts of criminal damage. They broke into nuclear submarine bases and also destroyed 2 British-made Hawk aircraft that were due to be sold to Indonesia for use in East Timor, where civilians were being massacred.
Would my honourable friend care to take account of those people who commit violence against property, serious violence against property, not with a view to destroying life, but with a view to saving life, such as those women who attacked the Hawk aircraft with hammers, and some of them were acquitted, and the Trident Ploughshare 2000 organisation, which attacks the Trident submarine to save life, not to destroy it. They may be right, they may be wrong, we may have lots of discussion about that, but are they terrorists?
Tomorrow morning I'm in the Middlesex court defending a woman who put some graffiti outside the House of Commons against nuclear weapons, a very courageous woman. I've known her for years. Now, if you define the damage to property as terrorism, that woman could be a terrorist.
Jack Straw was Blair's Home Secretary. He gave MPs this assurance.
The new definition will not catch the vast majority of so-called domestic activist groups which exist in this country today. I know of no evidence whatever that Greenpeace is involved in any activity which would remotely fall within the scope of this legislation.
At that time, Greenpeace was known for campaigning against genetically modified crops by ripping them out of the ground. Activists were arrested and put on trial for criminal damage. Some were acquitted, but the new terror law included serious damage to property as part of its definition, and even Tory MPs were worried that Greenpeace activists could be prosecuted as terrorists.
If I was a supporter of Greenpeace, which I am not, or Friends of the Earth, which I am not, and I had it in mind to grub up a field of GM crops or set fire to them, I would in fact say of that act, it is serious violence to property. Now, in respect of all of those characters and individuals, I disapprove of them very strongly. And I'm glad to say that the existing criminal law, in almost every respect, covers their activity. But if I ask myself the question, should they be treated as terrorists, I'm bound to say, no way.
Examples of the kind which the right honourable gentleman raises are easy to invent, but in practice, I'd say this to the right honourable gentleman, in practice what we're talking about is threats of serious violence. Of course there is a fine dividing line.
A fine line which Straw's successor, Yvette Cooper, believes Palestine Action falls on the wrong side of, apparently because of their damage to arms factories and military bases.
Attacks on national security infrastructure, that's the basis on which this organisation has been prescribed.
So why has Palestine Action been banned under this law? One of the allegations made by the group is that the Terrorism Act has been twisted by the Home Office to appease Israeli interests, like the arms firm Elbit, which has held contracts with the MOD and is now being considered for a £2 billion training deal with the British military. Surprisingly, a similar scenario was raised back in 1999, even by a supporter of the new law.
Supposing there was a very major defence contract worth billions of pounds over a large number of years, and let us say a government in the Middle East was exerting pressure on the British government that if they wanted that contract, there would be an expectation that action should be brought against a militant group which may be active in London in terms of conspiring and drawing together the international campaign. I mean, does my honourable friend not believe or foresee circumstances, certainly not under a Labour government, but perhaps under other governments in the future, where that kind of pressure could pay off?
I genuinely don't believe that would happen. And the reason for that is because the decisions about prosecution, let us assume for a moment that holders of my office, regardless of party, are completely venal and only have an interest in securing this defence contract and no other interest. Let us make that assumption. It would not be a holder of my office or any member of the government who would make the decision about prosecution.
Campbell Saver's prediction that a future UK government could be pressured by a Middle Eastern government over a defence contract seems to have come true. Only it was a Labour government who came under pressure from pro-Israel groups to ban Palestine Action. Which takes us to where we are today. 25 years since the Terrorism Act was passed, Palestine Action is appealing against the ban at the High Court, and some of its legal arguments are based on this debate from 1999. Ultimately, a judge will have to decide whether Jack Straw's law is being applied as Parliament intended.